All right, everybody. We got combos this week. Usually we do holds and pulses, but I wanted to switch it up. We're going to be starting with a flying saw on your forearms, up on your toes towards the middle of the carriage. We're going to get started. I'm going to set that timer. We're going to be pushing back, making that change in 3, 2. Now, in a forearm plank, you want to push that carriage out, extending your arms out, and then slowly bringing the carriage back in. You want to breathe in as you slowly go back, exhaling as you pull yourself in with a bending of your elbows. Now you're going to start to notice the further back you go out, you might feel a little discomfort or a little bit in your lower back. All you got to do is just slightly lift it up, and that'll alleviate a little bit of that pressure, or just don't go out so far. Now, if you need support, you can go to a second white spring. The second white spring will help move the carriage in a little quicker than one, so that's the way it supports you. We're going to be getting into a forearm plank to pike next. It's kind of like a flow. We're going to do one exercise, then another, then we're going to combo the two together. In 7 seconds, we're going to go ahead and hold that forearm plank, making that change in 3, 2. Now hold that forearm plank. Now pike those hips up to the sky, looking at your toes, breathing in as you slowly drop those hips back down. Now, what I say a lot is focus on the lifting and lowering of your hips. Don't think so much about your toes. Sometimes when we think about the muscle, we end up using it more than what we should be using. Sometimes I see clients swing the carriage in with their toes rather than focusing on piking up their hips, lifting it up. I usually say lift from your core, like there's a fire burning right underneath your stomach, and you're lifting up so that you're not getting burned. Now, we're finishing up this forearm plank in a little bit, and then we're going to be comboing that flying saw into a forearm plank to pike. We have 9 seconds before you hold your forearm plank again. We're going to make that change in 3, 2. Now hold, reset that form, slightly lifting up those hips. Now hinge from those shoulders out, and then slowly bring yourself back in and pause. Going into that forearm plank to pike, looking at your toes as you pike up to keep your neck in line with your spine. Once you're down again, send that carriage out into that saw, and then slowly bring it in, going back to your plank to pike on your forearms. We have a panther and a full arm plank to pike coming up next. We're going to go up to your hands and your toes in 3, 2. Now, up to your hands and toes. Want a slight bend in those elbows. Slightly lift up your hips. Now begin bending your knees underneath your hips. You want to focus on the bending of your knees and the releasing of the legs outward into that push-up position rather than using your toes. I'm right now on top of my tippy toes, like a ballerina, and I'm focusing on the bending of my knees as I exhale, bringing the knees forward, breathing in as I slowly send the carriage back out. Now, the reason why I say focus on the bending of the knee is so that you're not thinking about your toes. Just like that plank to pike earlier. You don't want to use your toes to bring in the carriage. That's just holding your body up. You're actually moving it in with the lower abdominal muscles, squeezing your lower abs. I have a slight bend in your elbow to activate those tricep muscles and to keep a little bit of weight off your wrist. Now, I like to hold the side of the platform with my thumbs on top, and that's a little bit more convenient or a little bit less stressful than having your hands right on top like a push-up. You want to look at your wrist. If there's a lot of wrinkles in the skin, it's a lot of pressure, so that's why I hold the outside. We're getting ready for that full arm plank to pike coming up in 5 seconds, holding that plank in 3, 2. Now hold here. If you need a break because you have a little bit of lower back pain, feel free to take it. Slight bend in your elbows. Now begin piking up your hips, looking towards those toes, breathing in as you slowly go down. Breathe. Exhaling when you exert power or effort, breathing in when you release. Slight bend in those elbows. Now after this, we're going to be holding that push-up position in that full arm plank, and then we're going to combine the two exercises, Panther into a full arm plank to pike. One thing I want to note about that full arm plank to pike is when you're doing it, try not to go all the way up. That's just going to turn into a stretch rather than you actually keeping tension in those abdominal muscles. We're almost there. We're getting ready for those combos in 7 seconds. We're going to hold in that push-up position, making that change in 3, 2, now hold that push-up, slight bend in your elbows, slightly lift up those hips and begin bending that knee in, releasing the legs back behind you. And once you're in that push-up position, exhale as you pike those hips up, looking at those toes, only about 80 or 90%, remembering to keep tension in those abdominal muscles. Now, what we have next is a forearm plank with heel raises. What you're going to do is go down to your forearms and your toes, making that change in 3, 2, now get down into that forearm plank. We're down on our forearms, up on our toes, holding that forearm plank. Now, while you're in a forearm plank, you can modify either by going up to your hands, which is a little easier, or you can modify also in addition or just by doing it alone down on your knees. Now, while we're holding this plank, we're going to be doing heel raises, lifting up one leg for 2 to 3 seconds, and then alternating to the other one heel at a time. Now, if you need to modify, what you can do is go up to those hands like I stated, or you can go down to your knees and just lift up one leg at a time, holding that plank, remembering you can always go right back up on those toes if you can, if you have that energy, but I know that you can do this. Now, we're going to go back to the back for what I call a kneeling panther, working on those lower abdominal muscles. We're going to be going on one white spring. If you have 2 for support, take it off. Otherwise, it's going to be really heavy at the back. Kick into the back in 3, 2. Now, bring that carriage in, turn around, and kick to the back. And we're going to be in a modified push-up position. So your hands are going to be on the side of the platform. Knees and legs together behind you, just like that modified push-up. I want you to go out about 2 to 3 inches, hinging from those shoulders. Now squeeze those lower abs, bringing that knee forward underneath your hips. Now, if this is too difficult for you, you can modify by coming closer. The higher or closer that your shoulders are over your arms or hands, the easier it is. If you're not feeling anything, you got to go out a little bit further, hinging back from those shoulders. Try 1 inch first to see how you feel. And then if that's not hard enough, go back out a little further, squeezing those lower abdominal muscles. I have a slight bend in my elbow right now. Breathe in as you release your knees and legs back. Exhaling as you squeeze your lower abs. We have a super reverse kneeling crunch coming up next. You're going to be going down to your forearms, tucking the elbows in front of the back platform strap, making that change in 3, 2, now pull that carriage in, drop those forearms down, tucking those elbows in front with your palms up, legs back to hold that plank. Now round your shoulders, lift your belly button, and crunch inward with those lower abs that we just used. Now you want to exhale as you round your shoulder, lift your belly button, crunching inward with your lower abs. Just start just like that. Round the shoulder, then lift your belly button as you're rounding, squeezing your lower abs, not your knees, to bring the carriage in. Now you're going to notice that I'm not touching the platform and carriage together. If you touch them together, you're going to lose tension, and a lot of that effort that you just performed moving in and up is going to be lost. So only touch that platform and carriage if you need to take a break. You want to exhale, rounding up, lifting the belly button, crunching in with your lower abs, looking at your knees as you come inward, and then releasing your head out, looking down as you release your knees behind you. Now we have holds and pulses coming up next. You're going to hold halfway in 3, 2, now hold halfway in. Knees are directly underneath your hips, and you're holding as you breathe. Now pulse out 2 inches, in 2 inches. Let the carriage move back on its own as you crunch forward, only using those lower abs. Exhale as you squeeze. Breathe in as you release, remembering everything that you do should be as slow as you can. We're going back to full range in 3, 2. Now release those legs back and then round, lift, and crunch again. We're going into legs coming up next. We're going to be doing a 1-leg step up. We're going to be letting go of the carriage, stepping down into the well beneath our belly button and picking up those 2 blue cables first in 3, 2. Now bring that carriage in. Use those black handlebars. Let that carriage go. What we're going to do is we're going to grab those 2 blue cables first. And then we're going to step up with our right foot underneath the strap if you need support. If you don't, you can always have it up top. Now, your left foot is going to be behind you into the well. I'm holding onto the straps with my fingers to challenge myself rather than using the handlebars. Now I'm dipping my toe down into the well while I stick my butt back there so that I don't have my knees past my toes. Breathe in as you slowly go down and back, exhaling as you push through your heels. Remember, the more you use your heels, the more you're going to activate those leg muscles. And what I do is I keep my toes lifted the whole time, ensuring that I'm using only my heels. Another thing that I'm doing is I'm stopping a little bit before locking out those knees. You want to be sure that you don't lock out your knees, mainly so that you don't lose tension. You want to keep that tension in the legs the whole time. Now, if you want to make it harder, you can cross your left leg behind your right, turning your legs into the number 4. That's going to give a little bit more weight into those legs, into your right leg, and allow you to go down a little bit lower. We got holds and pulses coming up next. In 7 seconds, we're going to be meeting me low, making that change. In 3, 2, now meet me low and hold. We're breathing through this. We're going to be coming up and down for pulses in 3, 2, now up, down, slow, control. Pushing through those heels. I still have my toes lifted. We have 1 more hold coming up next. 5 seconds. Making that change in 3, 2, now meet me low as you can. Breathe through this. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're coming up in 3, 2, now push through those heels to come up and then back to full range. Remember, anytime you need that break, take that break. Every day is not the same. Also, I'd rather have you take a break than go too fast or break your form. We got a curtsy lunge coming up next. Right foot will shift to the left, left foot behind you. In 3, 2, now shift that right foot all the way to the left, and then that left leg will go behind you towards the right, meeting me low for a hold. We're going to come up in 3, 2, now push through that right heel towards the left side of your platform. Remember, don't lock out those knees, go slow. Now, you'll notice that my shin is not moving as I come up and down into this Curtsy X-Lunge is what we're doing. Now, sometimes as we go up and down, our knees might or tend to shift to the right. So it's your job to keep your shin straight the whole time in line with that foot on that platform. Exhale as you push through your heels. Breathe in as you slowly go down. We have those holds, pulses, and holds coming up next. What you're going to do is meet me low, and then we're going to hold before you pulse using those fingers on those black handlebars if you need to. Remembering to try to get to that 90-degree angle to activate a lot more muscles. Breathe. In 7 seconds, we're going to meet low for a hold, making that change. In 3, 2, now meet me low as you can hold. Try to get to that 90-degree angle if you can. Now we're holding here. If you need support, use your fingers on those black handlebars. If not, we're pulsing in 3, 2, now pulse. Up, down, slow, control. Breathe through this. We're almost done. You got 7 more seconds and we got another hold, making that change. In 3, 2, now we're holding low. Try to use those fingers if you can. Leave all that weight into those legs. Those fingers are just helping you. Coming up in 3, 2. Now push through those heels to come up. Shake it off if you need to. If not, breathe in and out deeply. Breathe through this. Now I usually use my fingers, or at least my knuckles, so that I don't go all the way down to my palms, which makes it a little bit more keeping you from going down and over too much. We got kneeling inner thighs coming up next. We're going to hang up those blue cables, kneeling facing the right towards that make it shake sign in 3, 2. Now bring that carriage in. Go ahead and hang up those 2 blue cables. And then we're going to be facing the make it shake sign with those black straps in between those knees. Hold that carriage in because we're going out in 3, 2. Now breathe in as you go out. Exhaling as you come in. Now, what I say usually is if you feel like you have to use your knees to push it down into the carriage and platform to squeeze your inner thighs, that could mean that you're going out a little too far. I want you to focus on using your inner thighs and those inner thighs only. We want to train that brain to use the muscles that we are telling it to use. Breathe in as your legs go out. Exhale as you squeeze inward. Now we're getting ready for kneeling squats coming up next. We're going to be going shoulder width apart in 8 seconds, and we're going to squat down and back. Making that change in 3, 2. Now go out halfway. Now I want you to sit down and back and come forward in that squat. Now I breathe in as I go down, exhaling as I come up and forward with my hips. Almost done. We have that combo coming up next. In 10 seconds, we're going to squeeze in and come up while going out to squat down. In 3, 2, now squeeze in and come up, and then out to squat down. Exhale up and in, breathe in, out and down. Slow as you can. Breathe. We're going to be making a spring change coming up next in 9 seconds. We're taking that carriage to the front and adding on a heavy spring for standing outer thighs with weights or not. We got 3, 2, and 1. Take that ride on the carriage to the front. We're going to add on a heavy spring. Gray is medium, black is heavy. Then we're going to pick up those weights and tuck our feet in between those straps. Now, I want you to hold out halfway with your arms out like a wing because we're coming up and in 3, 2. Now slowly come up, touching those weights together at the top. Don't go all the way in. Try to keep it shoulder width apart if you can. Exhaling as you go out to hold. Bicep curl for that 1 second hold, and then slowly come back in. Exhale as you push outward, bringing those arms out like a wing. Bicep curl for that hold, and then breathe in as you slowly come up and in with those weights. We're warming up here. We got 2 variations back to back coming up next. We got a halfway pulse, and then we have a full range hold while doing bicep curls. Keep it up, everybody. Remember, every day is not the same. Take that break if you need to. Breathe in as you slowly come inward. Exhale, pushing out with those weights, holding for that bicep curl. Now, you have the option to take off the 1 white spring if it's too heavy for you. Also, if you're having trouble going slow, I want you to take off that spring. We're going to be holding out on our next repetition, halfway or a little more, in 3, 2, now hold out halfway. Weights in front of you to work out those arms as we pulse in and out. You want to let the carriage take you in automatically, but you're pushing out 1 inch at a time. Try to keep those weights out in front of you a little bit longer. We're going to go out as far as you can with your arms out, palms up. Making that change in 3, 2, now hold out far and bicep curl. Breathe through this. These bicep curls are trying to get your mind off of those legs holding below. We got sumo squats coming up next. Making that change in 3, 2, now bring that carriage in. Now what we're going to do is send those legs out, go down shoulder width apart into a squat, arms out to your side. Now I want you to come up slowly with that bicep curl, and you can add a shoulder press if you'd like. Bring those arms down as your body goes down, and your job is to press through those heels to come up, keeping that carriage from moving and shoulder width apart if you can. The wider out you hold it, the more it mocks a resistance band around your thigh. Breathe in as you go down. Exhale, coming up. Now, if you don't want to do if you don't want to work out your shoulders, it's fine. Just do those bicep curls. There's so many options that you can do using these weights. Triceps, arms, deltoids, lots of different muscles. We're getting ready for 2 variations coming up next. What we're going to do is we are going to go down, hold that left leg out, and arms out in front of you to hold a skater before you skate. Making that change in 3, 2, now down low in that squat, left leg out with weights in front of you. Now slowly bring the carriage in and push that carriage away. What you're doing is called a skater. You're holding in an isolated hold in your right leg. As you exhale, pushing out your left leg out, breathing in as the leg comes in. We have a right leg squat, single leg squat, coming up next. In 6 seconds, left leg holds out. In 3, 2, now left leg out. Hold that weight in front of your chest, and you can push up and down through the right leg. Breathe in as you go down. Exhale, coming up. Now we're getting into obliques coming up next, dropping those weights. 1 white spring, 3, 2, now bring that carriage in, drop those weights. Make sure you're on 1 white spring, and we're gonna go to the back for a forearm plank, just to transition to the obliques. Now forearms are harder, full arm planks are easier, and in 10 seconds, we're gonna be doing toe taps. Lifting up your right foot to tap the right side, left foot tapping the left side. Making that change in 3, 2, now lift up that right foot to tap the outside of the carriage. Bring it back in. Left foot taps the outside of the left of the carriage. Breathe in as you tap out. Exhale as you bring it in. We're just taking 1 toe, 1 foot at a time to go to the outside, keeping us in a 1 leg forearm plank. If you need to modify, up to those hands. And if you get tired, it's okay. Go down to those knees and just do leg raises. Now, we're going to be transitioning into your Mermaid Crunch. We're going to let go of the carriage and then face the right towards that make it shake sign in 3, 2, now bring that carriage in. Hold the bars to let go of the carriage. We're going to be sitting down on the left leg on the back platform, right foot underneath the platform strap that can be moved. We're going to be facing the make it shake sign. Your left hand is against your stomach, touching that oblique. Right hand up. Now we're going to start going up halfway and then back down. You want to exhale coming up, breathe in going down. Now, the reason why we're only making this short range of motion is because you only want to go up until your upper body is parallel with your leg that's hooked down below in that floor strap. You want to make sure that your shoulders are pulled back and that you're looking up or straight forward. I just like looking up to make sure that I'm going up the right way, not crowding my shoulders forward. Now, if you feel your right outer thigh burning, that could mean that you're hooking onto the strap way too much. So ease off of the strap down below and use more of your right oblique. Breathe in, going down, and exhale, coming up. We got holds, pulses, and holds coming up next. You're going to have a double high five and hold out halfway in 3, 2, now double high five and hold halfway out and breathe. We're going to pulse together in 3, 2, now pulse up down, up, down. Slow, control. Almost done. You got 9 more seconds, and then we have another hold. Making that change in 3, 2, now hold. Breathe through this. I'm shaking. You got 6 seconds, and we're coming up in 3, 2, now slowly come up. Shake it off if you need to, and then right back into it when you can. You want to make sure that you're feeling that oblique. Touch that oblique with that left arm. We're going to be going into a twist in 8 seconds, sitting at the back, facing the front in 3, 2, now come up. Now both your feet are underneath your floor strap. You can adjust it by moving it closer or further. You're going to sit at the back, facing the front with your hands into a prayer. Now we're going to reach back with your right arm, tapping the floor. Bring it back to center, and then tapping the other side with your left hand. You want to breathe in as you go down, exhaling as you bring your arms back up. Now I'm pushing my tailbone down and flexing my abs, tightening my stomach as I hold this position. Breathe through this, never holding your breath. We got prayer hand twists coming up next. In 3, 2, now hands together. Now we're just going left and right. Breathe through this. I breathe in as I go one way, exhaling as I go the other. Now if you want to slow it down a little bit, that's perfectly fine. Just remember to go left and right. We're transitioning into that Mermaid Crunch in 11 seconds. We're going to be facing the right towards the B-fit wall with your left foot under the strap, sitting on your right leg in 3, 2, now facing the B-fit wall. You're sitting on your right leg with your left foot under the strap. Your right arm is against your stomach, left hand up, coming up in 3, 2, now come up halfway until your upper body is parallel with that leg in the well. You want to breathe in again as you go down, exhaling as you come up. Now, sometimes people tend to crowd forward, sometimes people lean back, but you want to stay in line. Your leg all the way up to your upper body and shoulders should all be in line. I like to reach up to the sky halfway, squeezing that left oblique. Breathe in. Exhale, coming up. Move that strap if you need to, if it's a little different. Breathe. Almost there, everybody. Gotta adjust my strap. We got that hold, pulse, and hold coming up next. What we're going to do is have that double high five, and we're going to hold halfway out. You got 6 seconds. Making that change in 3, 2, now double high five, holding halfway out. Breathe through this. We're going to start those pulses in 3, 2, now breathe. 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Up, down, up, down. 9 more seconds, and we got another hold. Making that change in 3, 2, whew. Take that break if you need to. 6 seconds. We're going to come up together in 3, 2, now slowly back up and back down. Whew. That's a burner. Now we're going to be going into that left leg coming up next. You're going to pick up those blue cables and then stand in the well facing the street. Making that change in 3, 2, now come up. Shake it off if you need to. Wipe up that sweat like I'm about to do. Whew. Almost done, everybody. Now pick up those blue cables. Step that left foot under the strap if you need support, or on top if you don't. Your right toes are behind you, holding with your fingers if you want that challenge. And we're going down in 3, 2, now slowly dip that right toe down, sticking that butt behind you, pushing through those heels to slowly come up. Take your time. Remember, it's not a race. The slower you go, the more that you're going to tone that body. I have my toes lifted, not locking out my knees at the top. Exhaling as I push through my heels, breathing in as I slowly go down. Now remember, you have another option on making it more difficult. You can bend that right leg behind your left, making your legs the number 4, enabling you to go down a little bit lower and a little bit more weight into that leg. Breathe in as you go down. Exhale as you push through your heels. Now, we got those hold pulses and holds coming up in 10 seconds. You're going to meet me as low as you want to hold. Making that change in 3, 2, now meet me low and hold. Now, breathe through this. Fingers on those bars if you need support. We're going to pulse together in 3, 2, now up, down, up, down. Slow, control. Little pulses as slow as you can. Almost done, everybody. We're going to be holding one more time before we come up in 3, 2, now hold low, breathe through this. Fingers on your bar if you really need to. You can do this though. We did it once, you can do it again. Coming up in 3, 2, now push through those heels to come up. Shake it off if you need to, and then back to full range. We have that Curtsy X-Lunge coming up next. You're going to be shifting your left foot all the way to the right, and your right leg will be behind you towards the left, making that change in 3, 2, now bring that carriage in. You want to shift your foot all the way to the left, and then your right leg is going to be behind you. Sorry, your left foot is shifted to the right. Right foot is to the left behind you, meeting me low. Make sure that shin is straight. Then push through those heels as you slowly come up. Breathe in as you slowly go down. Exhale as you push through your heels, lifting up your toes if you want to show more attention to those leg muscles. Now, I have my fingers on the black or on the blue cables. You can hold the black handlebars if you need to. You also have the option of only holding the left cable, the leg that you're working with that, and I usually like my other hand behind my back. You can also hang up both your blue cables if you'd like to, and that's usually the goal, to get there without any support. Now, I'm keeping my shin straight up and down, never letting the knees shift out to the left. The more you practice Pilates, the more mind-body connection that you're going to obtain and develop. And that's going to help you not have to think about things so much. Breathe. We got those holds and pulses in 5 seconds. You're meeting me low in 3, 2, now meet me low for that hold. Try to get that 90-degree angle. We're going to pulse in 5 seconds. 3, 2, now up, down, up, down. Breathe through this. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We got another hold coming up next. In 9 seconds, you're going to stay low as you can hold it. Fingers on those bars if you need to, making that change. In 3, 2, now hold low. Breathe through this. Fingers, try not to use those palms. Coming up together in 3, 2, now push through those heels. Don't use those blue straps unless you need to. And then back to full range. We got those kneeling inner thighs coming up next. You're going to be kneeling on the carriage and platform at the back, facing the B-fit wall in 3, 2, now second time around, don't worry about hanging up those cables, just drop them down. Facing the B-fit wall, your knees are on the outside of the straps, those are on the inside. I want you to hold that carriage in because we're going out in 3, 2, now slowly let that carriage go out. Exhaling as you squeeze those inner thighs inward. Breathe in as your legs slowly go outward. Exhale. Now, if you ever need support, the black handlebar in front of you can lift up and turn it to the opposite direction so that it's right in front of you. I like to have you have a gaze forward, chest tall and proud, hands behind my back so that I pull my shoulder blades back, correcting my hunchback. We're getting ready for that variation. We're going to be going out shoulder width apart and then squatting down on those knees. Making that change in 3, 2, now halfway out. Now squat down and come forward. You want to slowly go down, sitting back on those legs, and then exhaling as you come up and forward with your hips. Now, I like this motion with my arm because it's kind of exaggerating my hips going forward. You can take this on or just keep your hands in front of you, hands on those hips, whatever you prefer. Just make sure that you feel comfortable squeezing in and up in 3, 2, now squeeze in and come up, and then go out and squat down. Exhale up and in, breathe in and out, squatting. Now we got a spring change coming up next. In 9 seconds, you're gonna take a ride to the front, and we're gonna add on that heavy spring and pick up those weights for standing outer thighs in 3, 2, now get on that carriage, letting it take you to the front. Add on that heavy spring, pick up those weights facing the B-fit wall. Both your feet are underneath those straps. We're gonna be going out halfway or more with those arms out like a wing, and we're coming in together in 3, 2, now slowly come in, bringing those weights together as they touch. Exhaling as you push through both your feet against the straps. Holding out for that bicep curl, and then slowly coming in with those weights together. Now, I have a slight bend in my knees. I just like the slight bend because it protects my joints, and it feels a little harsh for me when they're straight. So just listen to your body. If you're fine with it straight, by all means, make yourself feel comfortable when you work out. For me, I just like to be protective, preventive, just keeping slight bends in everything that I have. Exhale, going out. Hold for that bicep curl. Breathe in as you slowly come in. Now, we're getting ready for those 2 back-to-back variations. We're going to be going out halfway, and we're going to be pulsing in and out with the weights out in front of you. You got 6 seconds. Making that change. In 3, 2, now, go out halfway or more, weights in front of you. Now pulse in and out, in and out. Now you're working out your arms right now, holding those weights up, also working out those outer thighs. Exhale as you push, let the carriage take it in on its own. In 8 seconds, we're gonna hold out as far as you can, bicep curling with arms out, palms up, in 3, 2, now bring it back in if you need to. Push out with your arms outward. Now bicep curl, forgetting about down below in that hold. Breathe in as you release your arms out. Exhaling as you bicep curl. If you ever need to reset, you can just bring the carriage in and then exhale to push it back out and hold again. We're almost done. We got those sumo squats, knees shoulder width apart in 3, 2, now bring that carriage in, shake it off if you need to. We're going to be going down into that squat, knees shoulder width apart, arms out to your side. Now come up with that bicep curl, adding that shoulder press if you want to add in a shoulder press. Exhaling as you come up, breathe in as you go down. Try to keep that carriage from moving. Try to keep it more than shoulder width apart, mocking that resistance band around that outer thigh. Remember to sit down and back so those knees don't pass those ankles or toes. We got those 2 variations coming up next. What we're going to do is meet knee low, right leg out, arms out in front of you for that skater before we start that skate. We got about 10 seconds. Meeting low in 3, 2, now weights in front of you, right leg out. Now slowly bring it in, slowly push it out. Breathe in as it comes in, exhale as you push. Try to keep those weights in front of you. If you get tired, you can hold it right in front of you, but challenge yourself to bring it back out. Now we have those 1-leg squats coming up in 8 seconds. Your right leg stays out. Arms come to your chest. Left leg up and down. In 3, 2. Now push that carriage out. Now up in the left, down in the left. Push through those heels to come up. Breathe in as you go down. I like to stick my butt back, sitting down and back on the black handlebar behind me so that my knees don't pass my toes, pushing through my heel to come up. Now, 9 seconds. We got upper body to fix that posture. We have rotator cuff or newspaper and chest expansion. 3, 2, now bring that carriage in. We no longer need the weights, but we're going to change those springs. We're going to be going on 3 to 4 white springs, and then kneeling on the carriage, facing the street, grabbing both your black cables first, then cross them like an X. Once you have those cables crossed, come up on those knees, elbows glued to your obliques, arms out, holding the newspaper open. When you're ready, we're going to close those hands in 3, 2, now slowly close those hands in together, exhaling as you pull the cables out. Now, this is called a rotator cuff, or what we call a newspaper. Thinking about closing the newspaper as you breathe in, exhaling as you open up the newspaper. Now, I want you to focus on squeezing your back muscles first, and then using your arm muscles second. If you want to make this lighter, you can sit down on your legs, and then that will alleviate some of that weight from the strap. If you want it heavier, you can switch to the little rings at the end of your strap with 2 or 3 fingers in through the rings, and that will shorten the cables, thus making it heavier. Another thing you can do is you can always move back on your knees. The further back you move, the heavier the cables will get. Now, we're getting ready for holds, pulses, and holds coming up next. In 10 seconds, we're going to be opening up those arms as wide as you can hold. Making that change in 3, 2, now open up those arms as wide as you can and hold. Breathe through this. We're going to start those pulses in 3, 2, now in 2 inches, out 2 inches. Squeeze those abdominal muscles. Use that core to keep you stable. Breathe. Exhaling as you pulse out, breathing in as you release. We're getting ready for chest expansion coming up next. Arms to your side in 3, 2, now. You can have the cables crossed to make it heavier or uncross them to make it lighter. I want your fingers open like a starfish, fingers open. Your thumbs are touching the outside of your butt. Now exhale as you push back with your shoulders going back with you. Now what you want to do is use that thumb where you started on your butt to stop you from moving your hands past your thighs. You want to exhale as you push back with your palms against the black handlebars while also squeezing your shoulder blades back. In Lagree, this is called a chest opener. We call it a chest expansion. Same difference in my opinion, just pushing back as you exhale, slowly bringing it in. Now, we got holds and pulses coming up next. In 10 seconds, you're going to hold out as far as you can, making that change in 3, 2, now push out as far out as you can and hold. Now pulse, 1 inch in, 1 inch out. Use those shoulder muscles and those arms, exhaling as you pulse. This is the last one. We're going to be finishing in 10 seconds. Breathe, exhaling as you push. Breathe in as you release. We are done in 3, 2, and we are done. Drop those cables. Awesome job today. See y'all next time.